Today we'll be building the Excaliber. Lucky for us, this one doesn't talk. As usual, the cut sheet is in the description along with the materials needed to build the sword. Start by making the hardened paper. These are folded long ways. Make about 25 of these, as this sword is a bit longer than my other ones. Make sure you have about 55 inches of space. The template is a bit different than my other ones, as this sword has a really long handle, so we will have to shift the section for the crossguard up a few inches. So unlike my previous templates, the seams of the connecting pieces are off-center. So there will be more unused space because the sword we are cutting out is actually only 46 inches long. Even though the seam lines are off-center, it doesn't affect how the rest of the template is built. Just keep building as if it was normal. Now the paper I'm using measures 11 inches on the long side, so I ended up with a 55-inch template. Now you can cut the template short once you reach the 47-inch mark. Build the template up to 4 layers and put it underneath a bunch of books to let it dry for 24 hours. Tape the cut sheet to the template and finish drawing the blade. Now I didn't specify a taper or a blade tip for this sword, mostly because there were so many variations of how this sword looks in the anime, so I left that decision up to you. Now because this is a cut sheet and not a dimension drawing, you might want to check the sizing to see if your printer has not messed with the scale. I did dimension one item on this drawing, so you can use that to check. For this step you'll need your Hotglue gun and craft sticks. Cut a few of these in half long ways, as these will be used for the tip and the top layer of the support layer. The starting piece for the second layer should be cut in half. This is so you have the proper spacing to cover the layers below it. For the third layer, starting out where the blade is the most narrow, we'll have to change over to the craft sticks that were cut long ways, or we'll have problems down the road with covering these supports. Repeat this support structure to both sides. Make more hardened paper, except this time fold it on the short side. Make 2 that are 2 layers thick, and 2 that are 1 layer thick. The one I'm making here is the 2-layer sheet. The single layers will be used to start covering the crossguard area, while the 2-layer ones are for making the decoration pieces. You'll also need 6 single-layer sheets folded long ways to cover the blade. Taking the single-layer sheet that was folded on the short side, trace a rough outline of the sword. Then cut the piece out a little bit bigger than what you traced out. Use liquid glue to glue the panel into place. I use binder clips and craft sticks to make a clamp that will hold everything in place as it dries. On occasion I'll use some painter's tape to hold things in place as I get the binder clips in place. Once it has dried, cut off the excess paper and then repeat the whole process until you have the whole blade covered. Cut a piece of paper just large enough to cover this gap on the back side of the guard. Don't cut it too big because we'll be using the decoration pieces to cover up this part. Now cut strips of paper about 1 inch wide to cover the handle. Tape the cut sheet to the 2-layer sheet of hardened paper we made earlier and cut out the decorations. You can see here the pieces you will need to cut out. Glue these pieces together. These are the decorations for the hilt and pommel. Next, you will need to cut out the pommel piece that will hold the pommel decoration and glue in place as shown. You will need 2 pieces for the pommel. You can paint the parts if you like. I use spray paint on mine. From here we can begin assembling all the parts. I used a blue plastic gem 12mm in diameter as part of the decoration. You can get these at a arts and crafts store or online. For this piece, you want to roll it into a semicircle. Don't bend this piece, work it into a curve because any sharp bends will be visible on the surface. Pinch the 2 pommel pieces together to get a curve. Then put hot glue on the edge of both tabs. This is where we're going to mount the piece that we curved earlier. You can also use hot glue to hold these pieces down as well. Remember to leave a like if you liked the video, dislike if you didn't. Feel free to leave a question or comment, and subscribe if you haven't already, or I will chop down Yggdrasil. If you want to see more videos like this.